Hey folks, it's Mangrel. Welcome back to the channel. I've gone ahead and taken the Dell Alienware R10 completely apart and I've built this monstrosity. The Dell Alienware was working very well with the two GPUs. So I had the 3080, the stock one, plus I had my 3070. It was really working well when I had that GPU outside the case. But it was starting to make a lot more noise, a lot more heat, and just a general comfort wasn't there. And as you can see, this rig is pretty close to my living area. So I wanted something that was scalable, quiet, and just got more of that wife approval factor. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and taken every single part out of that Dell case, with the exception of the motherboard and the CPU cooler. I took out the GPU, I took out the processor, the hard drive, the power supply, the memory, all that came out and into this guy here. So I'll give you links to Amazon where I got a lot of these parts, but let me walk you through what we have going on here. So the first piece here is the power supply from the Dell, and this thing was probably the biggest disappointment because look at these outputs, these ports. It doesn't have that many for the GPU. And also it only has 6-pin outputs. So I've got this right now running just the 3060 Ti over here. So I've got the riser and the GPU itself, both on the same power supply. That's what you want to do. You never want the riser and the GPU on different ones. And what Dell does is they take the 6-pin over here and they convert it to an 8-pin. So that's really disappointing. So right now this power supply just powers that one. What else we have here? So then we've got our Corsair CPU cooler. This is a 240, I believe. And the reason why I chose this one over the stock Dell one, the stock Dell one actually is a proprietary kind of mount. I think it uses an Intel mount even for an AMD CPU. So if you change the motherboard, you have to change that cooler too. Plus this is a lot quieter. Next we have here our 3070. This is the Dell 3080. This is my Zotac 3080. So everything is processing, I guess it's not processing, everything's mining. And I've also gone ahead and used these GPU risers. They're the 009. And I've got them powered off not SATA, but Molex. So I've got 2 on each Molex string. Here we've also got our new power supply. I got a Corsair HX1200, and if I was to do this again, I would choose a different power supply because the problem is you're never going to have enough ports to power a lot of GPUs off of these power supplies. Even a 1200 or 1600, they're going to have the most part 6 ports. So doing this again, I should have gotten maybe 2 850s, 2 900s, something like that. And a lot of folks will get one regular power supply and one server power supply, but I want this to be quiet. So the way to do that is to get an ATX power supply. That's why I have the 2. So there's one there. I've got 2 plugs going to the wall as well. What else do we have? Then we have these Noctua fans. These are blowing the air inwards. I'm missing one, which is on the way from Amazon. And then the motherboard is a Asus motherboard, and it's a B550. And I chose this one because it's got 5 GPU slots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it gives me that flexibility for the future. And let me take the microphone inside here so you can hear just how quiet this is. And I'll try to put up a decibel meter, but just check out how quiet this thing actually is. And right now it's mining full speed, but just listen to this. Oh, one thing to show you, in order to use the Dell power supply, because it's not connected to motherboard, you need to connect a wire in this section here from this first top left to the top right, and that tricks the power supply into turning on. So right there. And now let me explain to you what we have mining here, because right now this is actually mining 3 different things. So the 3060 Ti, that's mining Ravencoin, I believe at about 30 megahash. The 3070 is doing Ethereum at about 59. the Dell 3080 with the modification for the thermal paste. I'll link you in the video description. That is doing about 97 mega hash in Ethereum. And I've got the Zotac here, the 3080 is doing about 95 mega hash. Almost forgot the third coin. We're also mining Monero on the CPU, hence that huge radiator. So there is the overview of the mining station. I'll give you links to Amazon where you can find a lot of these parts. If you have any question about converting your Dell Alienware to something like this, just let me know.